Hey everyone, in this video I will be recreating a rundown for the A block of Newsvision's March 30th, 2023 episode, which you can go back and watch on the UMTV website or by following the URL on your screen. I will be playing parts of the show as I add each element to the rundown so you can see what each segment looks like as the rundown comes to life. Every episode starts with headlines, which are pre-recorded, which mean they are recorded and edited in advance as opposed to being read live on the air. Now I'm going to play a short clip of the Newsvision headlines from that show so you can understand what headlines look like.
Tonight on Newsvision, history for Miami men's basketball. The Hurricanes are headed to their first Final Four in program history and are just 2 wins away from a national championship.
Just a great culture to be a part of and great organization to be a part of.
Since the video has pre-recorded audio, we'll put the headlines in as a SOT. For the A1 slug, we put in all caps, headlines, and SOT under the segment column. Now let's go back to the Newsvision episode and see what comes after headlines.
Breaking news right now. A lawyer for Donald Trump says that he has been told that the former president has been indicted by the grand jury.
So after headlines, we see the anchor starts reading a voiceover about Donald Trump being indicted. I cut the audio out at this part so I could explain what was happening, but now we're going to see how to add this part into the rundown. The next slug is Trump indictment delayed, which is a top VO. This was right after headlines A2 at the top of the show because it was breaking news that day. The producers added a VO right after headlines. A VO is when the anchor reads off the teleprompter while the video plays. After that VO is hellos. This is when the anchor, or in this case, anchor pair, is introduced on camera. Since we want to see both anchors, this is a 2-shot under segment. Then we will write both under the anchor column, and the shot will be on camera 2, which is the middle camera in Studio B. Now let's play the clip of anchor hellos from this episode of Newsvision.
And with that, good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of Newsvision. I'm Cal Friedman.
And I'm Melanie Lowe. Thank you for joining us tonight.
And remember, when looking at the anchor desk, camera 1 is on the left but shoots the anchor on the right side of the desk, and camera 3 is on the right but shoots the anchor on the left side. The first story after hellos is Miami Final Four, which is the slug. The anchors start reading this story after hellos while they are still in the 2-shot, like this.
Miami men's basketball went back to the Elite Eight round of the NCAA tournament this season, and now the team is going to its first ever Final Four in school history.
The team left for Houston, Texas Wednesday afternoon to play the Connecticut Huskies on Saturday night.
We would write 2-shot under segment and both under the anchor column, and the camera has not changed, so it is still on camera 2. The next element is the transition to the sports reporter who is covering the basketball story, but it is still in the Miami Final Four segment, so we will name it Miami Final Four again in A5 like the last line. You will see it combined like I showed you in the last video. Let's take a look at this segment.
Sports anchor Wyatt Copeman is live in studio with more. Wyatt, how far can this Hurricanes team go?
The transition shot uses the wall-mounted studio camera, which is camera 4. As the anchors toss to the sports reporter, you can see the camera 4 high-angle shot pan over. Under segment, we will write live cam 4. Under anchor, we will put both plus Wyatt, who is our sports reporter for the show and is being tossed to. After the camera 4 shot, it will cut to Wyatt, our sports reporter, at the vertical monitor in Studio B. Let's take a look.
Guys, Miami has not only matched its preseason expectations of making another deep run in this year's NCAA tournament, but has brought together community by playing its best basketball under longtime head coach Jim Larinaga.
For this part, let's name the next row Miami Final Four again. Then under segment, write VERT, which stands for the vertical monitor in Studio B. Then Wyatt under anchor, and this shot will be on camera 1. Next in the show, sports reporter Wyatt tosses to a package. Name the next line A7 Miami Final Four again under segment right PKG, which stands for package. Here I'll play a few seconds of the toss into the package.
But has brought together community by playing its best basketball under longtime head coach Jim Larinaga.
They got him on a dunk. Nice play off. Plays it right off.
For the Miami Hurricanes and Jim Larinaga, making the NCAA tournament this season was an expectation.
After the package, we'll cut back to Wyatt at the vertical monitor. So we will write Miami Final Four once again, then vert tag under segment since he is tagging his package. Then Wyatt under anchor, and the show will be back on camera 1. A tag is when an anchor or reporter comes back on camera at the end of their package to conclude the story. Let's take a look at the last few seconds of Wyatt's package into his tag at the vertical monitor.
We all show appreciation, we all love each other, and we all just here sticking to each other.
Miami is one of 3 programs in this year's Final Four which had never made it before. But the path to cutting down the nets doesn't get any easier. The Canes will play 4-time national champion and current favorites Connecticut on Saturday night. Well, I'll be back in a little bit for more sports news, but for now, reporting live for UMTV, I'm Wyatt Kopelman.
Now we're moving on to a new story, the Nashville shooting. Right, Nashville shooting under slug. The show now cuts to Cal, one of the anchors, on camera. So under segment, right, on cam, then Cal under anchor, and based on the side of the desk he is sitting at, which is the left side, he will be on camera 3, like we mentioned earlier about the cameras and which side of the anchor desk they shoot. So let's take a look at what this looks like.
Thank you, Wyatt. Tragedy struck in Tennessee earlier this week after a shooting left 6 people dead at a private Christian school in Nashville.
Cal then tosses to a package. So the next element will be named Nashville shooting again, and write PKG under the segment column, which, like we said before, stands for package. Here's the first few moments of the package that Cal tosses to.
A candlelight vigil was held in Nashville for the 3 children and 3 adults who were gunned down on Monday.
Cal comes back on camera for a tag after the package. So the next element will be named Nashville shooting again, then tag under segment, then Cal under anchor, and it's going to be on camera 3 again.
Today, a large crowd of protesters gathered at the Tennessee state capitol calling for stricter gun laws. Protesters could be heard chanting, "Do your job," and "Gun control now." The Covenant School massacre is the 19th shooting at a school or university in just the past 3 months.
Now we're moving on to a new story in the rundown. This slug is named Drag Out. Write drag out under the slug, then the show cuts to the other anchor, Melanie, on camera. This story will be a vo sot vo, so after the on cam, we cut to video as the anchor reads. For the line A12, write on cam under segment, Melanie under anchor, and she will be on camera 1 because she is on the right side of the anchor desk. Then for A13, write drag out again under slug, then VO under segment. Let's take a look at Melanie's on-cam into her VO.
Back on campus, university LGBTQ organization called Spectrum hosted UM's 10th annual Drag Out, a competition raising funds for Trans Lifeline, which is an organization serving transgender people. U-Drag features several student acts as well as special performances from well-known drag queens.
Then for A14, write drag out again under slug, and under segment, write sot vo. This is where we will cut to the drag out sot and back VO, which I will show you now.
Minded, and obviously that they'll have a good time because drag is fun to watch, but you know, with all the recent legislation, I hope that it will everyone will leave a little bit more open-minded than they came in.
Spectrum is hosting its next event called Queer Cabaret in the Red Road Studio Theater on Friday, April 7th at 3:30 p.m.
Now we're adding another new story. This one is called The Sandwich Run. Write Sandwich Run under slug. The story starts with Cal on camera. Write on cam under segment, Cal under anchor, and he's on camera 3, like he was for the last on cam.
Another group on campus called Lifting Our Voices is bringing together students from across the country to give back to the community. Charlie Hill has the story.
After his on-cam, he tosses to a package. Write sandwich run again under slug at A16, then write under segment package, PKG. Let's watch the first few seconds of the package.
Saturdays are for service. At least that's what students who gathered in the Mahoney-Pearson classrooms were saying on Saturday morning.
Now we're moving on to our final story of the A block before the B block tease and the break. A17 is named Koga Cleanup. It is a vo sot vo, which starts with Melanie on cam. So write on cam under segment, Melanie under anchor, and camera 1 for her camera. For the VO, write Koga Cleanup in the A18 line, then VO under segment. Now we'll watch Melanie's on-cam into the VO.
The city of Coral Gables has called itself the City Beautiful since 1933, but keeping that title requires some upkeep, and the city government is making sure they live up to the name. Monday was the first Coral Gables cleanup of 2023, hosted by the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce. They've been putting on these events for almost 3 years.
For the SOTVO, write Koga Cleanup again in the A19 line, then SOTVO under segment.
But we're really proud of everything that we've been able to accomplish, and that's made partly due because of the community and their interest and the way that they come out and participate at these events.
And together, the group picked up 186 pounds of trash in 1 hour.
After Melanie finishes the second VO from the Koga cleanup, we move on to the B block tease before the break. In the show, you will see this live wipe that says up next before showing Cal on camera again. These wipes are transitions and can be used in different parts of the show. Let's take a look at what the wipe looks like.
We will take a short break, but still ahead on Newsvision.
So now we need to add this wipe into the rundown. In line A20, write B block tease and under segment, write up next wipe. After the wipe, as you saw before, we see Cal is at the video wall reading the tease.
We will take a short break, but still ahead on Newsvision, Cuban migrants took an unconventional mode of transportation to flee their country. This story and more when we return.
In line A21, write B block tease. Then under segment, put VW, which stands for video wall, and Cal under anchor. Also, he will be on camera 3. After the B block tease is the first break. Here's the first few seconds of the first break. To create a break, remember to click the break box all the way down here on the right. The line will turn blue and will be named B0. All the lines after will be the B block. Newsvision usually has 4 blocks in each 30-minute show, so we would have 3 breaks. To make the remaining blocks, just follow the steps we outlined earlier in the video. Just a warning, there's going to be a jump cut here. The rundown is going to look slightly different because I had to go back and re-record something, but it is still the same Newsvision rundown. Once the blocks have been completed, you can add which server each edited piece of content will play back from during the show. This is by adding numbers to the tape column. Typically, we alternate between servers 1, 2, and 3 for the content and reserve server 4 for breaks. Starting at the top of the rundown, the first clip that needs to be played back will go in server 1. So we put a 1 here under the tape column. The next clip goes in server 2, so put a 2 there, then a 3 for the next clip. Now the next one will go back to server 1, then 2, and so on. And for the break, remember we'll put server 4. Remember that any piece of edited content and video needs to be played in a server. This includes video that is playing in the video walls. So for Wyatt's story about Miami Final Four, where video was playing behind him in the wall, and Cal with the sandwich run, where video was playing behind him, those all need servers as well.